Hey everyone, it's me Shimon and welcome to episode 15 of yet another tech podcast. This week I've got Ricky Villacrez from GSMArena. We'll be talking about OnePlus 7 series pre-launch discussions, 5G, Oppo Reno, Galaxy Fold being recalled, Tesla, and much more. So hop along the ride. This is going to be really amazing. Oh hey, just a quick heads up. Our whole conversation was about 2.5 hours long, but I had to chop it down to half of its length. But don't worry, it's still cohesive, it's still informative, and I'm sure you'll have fun. So yeah, just carry on. So for those who might not know you, why don't you introduce yourself?
All right, well, hello, I am Ricky. I'm Ricky Villacrez. I work for GSMArena just over 3 years. I write news, I attend events, I do hands-on. I basically create some content for GSMArena. And this is actually, believe it or not, my first gig in this industry. I just completely came out of nowhere. Before that, I was doing retail at Best Buy. I moved to New York. I didn't know what I was going to do there. I had the idea of starting a YouTube channel, like tech YouTube related. And then when I was reapplying for my Samsung job, I found an opening. Before the interview, I was gonna be asked about the Note 5, most likely at the time, for the Samsung job. And of course, I had to look up specs. And then when I look up Note 5 specs, I see GSMArena. And there was a banner that said they were hiring in New York. So I applied for that one too. And then I got both offers the same weekend. And I was like, wow, this is happening. So I lived in New York for 2 years. I have since moved back to my hometown in South Florida. So I'm originally from South Florida. I have of Peruvian descent. Both my parents are Peruvian. So I got that very spoiled palate. Very picky eater. I'll eat a lot of stuff, but I like certain stuff a certain way because But anyway, that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
We will discuss about food later.
Ooh, yes. I have plenty to discuss about food.
Oh, yeah. I don't recollect this, but did you go to MWC this year?
No, I did not. So I didn't go to MWC this year, so I didn't get that first humongous wave of phones that were launched, like LG, Samsung. I didn't go to the Samsung event either. What else? I don't even remember. It feels like it's been forever. It was like 2 months ago. What else was launched? The Mate X was announced. The P30 also was announced since then. But no, I did not go to MWC myself, but I was at CES, where not too much was announced on the mobile front.
Yeah. So the reason I was asking was, did you get your hands on the Samsung Galaxy Fold, like in a press briefing or something?
I did not myself. Because I'm based in the US, I am basically their satellite worker for GSMArena, so if there's European events going on, they'll usually attend those, and then I'm just left behind. So no, I did not get any hands-on with the Galaxy Fold at all, but we do have, I think we still have it. We do have one at the office, so we do a review and a hands-on and get some more, some time with it as well.
Alright, so it's still not here in India, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to show up in India anytime soon. Because
Galaxy Fold postponed.
Yes, they postponed the launch. And I must say, Samsung as a brand, only they can afford this kind of situation, Like even when the Note 7, the infamous Note 7 thing happened, only Samsung can come out of that fiasco. Like, had it been any other brand, they would have ceased to exist. What do you think?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the Note 7 because I actually was on another podcast. I was on the Pocket Now podcast talking about that same topic, about the recalls of the Note 7 and the battery explosions and stuff. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. I commend Samsung for taking such a huge risk, releasing this $2,000 phone and, going through basically this experimental product phase that unfortunately, it's not going well right now. They did issue a statement that they're indefinitely postponing the launch of the phone until they can figure out what they're gonna do. They even recalled review units that outlets had because some of those also showed some signs of weakness or whatever they wanted to research on those things. But Samsung is, since the Note 7, they've learned how to deal with these things. Immediate responses, immediate releases, immediate, I guess immediate statements or acknowledgments of these problems. And Samsung will bounce back. Samsung is a huge company, and they've gone through this before. And I think that was worse than this because there was fire involved.
Yeah,
I
agree.
But
because the Fold isn't really affecting anyone fatally.
That's true.
If you go towards Note 7, it was literally exploding.
Yeah.
So playing with fire there.
Yeah, they've learned since then.
Yes. And talking about like foldables and all, don't you think Mate X completely blew Galaxy Fold across the park in less than 4 days? The difference was 4 days, right? Between the announcement of Galaxy Fold and Mate X.
Yes, because Samsung announced it at their event that they strategically planned in San Francisco like 3 days before MWC. So all the journalists were mad when they had to fly all the way out to San Francisco and then fly all the way out to Barcelona to attend MWC. So I do remember that. I mean, thankfully, I was not the one doing all that. But yeah, they did. I mean, Samsung wanted to, beat them to the punch and beat everybody at MWC to the punch. So they made their event before. And then, Huawei announced their Mate X at MWC. And it's actually ironic because Samsung criticized Huawei for having their display folded on the outside. And they said that it's better on the inside because it'll be more protected. So, wow.
That did backfire at them. So, according to my understanding, it's like the reason it's failing is because dust particles are getting inside the top layer, like top protective film, and people were like removing it because it seemed like a screen protector.
Yeah, I mean, there were two occasions that these displays were failing, and one of them was just, I guess, from defects or, like you said, from particles getting inside. Another one was from people removing this protective layer that anybody would think is a regular pre-installed factory protector that a lot of phones come with, particularly Chinese phones. But I also saw iFixit's teardown, and they had a couple theories on what could possibly be causing these failures of the displays. And basically, because there's no ingress protection, there's no tight tolerances on the Galaxy Fold because it's not waterproof and it's a first generation product. So they're saying that particles and debris are getting lodged in the hinge, and then that's causing these displays to just fail upon folding these things.
Yeah, that's pretty understandable for a first gen product, don't you think?
I do. Yeah.
If we go towards second gen or third generation products, they'll be massively different from what we have right now. Like, even if you ask me, Mate X kind of seems to be a Gen 2 product for me. Like, if we just have a look at it, or even the Xiaomi prototype, which bends from both sides, even that looks more elegant than Galaxy Fold.
Maybe they're just waiting around to see what Samsung does and then trying to be like, now they're scrambling because, is ours going to do the same thing? Are we going to have the same problems that Samsung is? And I think isn't the Huawei Mate X's display going to be a Samsung OLED panel? I think that's also an ironic part. Yeah.
Another factor being, since the screen is on the outside and the screen is made up of plastic, it's going to get scratched up really quickly.
Yeah.
Because that's the only surface which is getting in touch with the other surfaces. So it can attract dust, anything. Mm-hmm. So once people get their hands on it, it's going to be scratched at level 4.
I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see until they figure out bendable glass, which Gorilla Glass Corning is apparently working on already, and they still need like 2 more years. But they're apparently developing already this, this really thin layer of glass that you can, bend to a certain radius, and then that's when we'll be really seeing these, I guess, foldable form factor take off. If that is the direction that we're going to go at all at this point, because we don't even know what turn the industry is going to go,
Yeah, right. Like, if you turn back the time and just check out phones from 4 years ago, massive difference. Did you ever think 4 years ago that your phone will have a pop-up camera? Did you even think, like, out of your sheer imagination, like, hey, camera would turn up from the behind or somewhere?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like, well, okay. I mean, there have been some experiments with that kind of like camera, form factor changing. Like, I don't know if you remember the Oppo N1 from a while back. The Oppo N1, which had a flipping camera. It would flip from the back to the front, so you could take a selfie with the same camera. And then, just going back to even feature phones, sliders, or rotating cameras that were inside of, in the hinge,
Yes,
those were the times of innovative form factor, innovative design things. And now with these metal slabs, we're getting something, there's a little bit less room to play with, I guess, because that's just the form factor that everybody has adopted as the norm these days. So I'm really excited to see where these foldable devices will get us in terms of form factor, usability, and practicality, and what, I guess, it's going to push the limits of what people are going to pay for these things.
All right. So hypothetically speaking, what would be your ideal foldable device would be like?
Oh man, I didn't know this was coming. So my ideal I'll tell you my ideal foldable device. I think I'd rather have a clamshell that flips down, like a flip phone did. Like, I guess kind of like what the Razr is rumored to be. I think that's my ideal smartphone, because I still like it to be small. I personally don't find the need to have a smartphone fold into a tablet. Because normally, like, first of all, I don't use tablets. I don't have a tablet, so I don't find the use for it. And if I'm gonna be able to use my phone as a tablet, I want to have the speakers to pair with it. Like, I want these loudspeakers. I can show people this video or whatever. I just don't see myself using this. And then you're gonna see this play back like 3 years from now when I have a foldable phone and I'm talking. I'm trying. Yeah, like I said, I mean, my ideal use case for a smartphone would be one that I can have, my standard tall display, and then I can flip it down, put it in my pocket, and it's, it's away and out of the way. And that way, it's just closed, and I'm not looking at it. I guess is another thing. Yeah.
Then you'll be just opening it up again and again. Oh, did I receive a notification? No, I didn't. But maybe I did.
But I think if I had a phone that folded, I would be fidgeting with it so much. I would be like opening and closing it all day long. Like,
that's what I used to do with those Nokia phones back in the day, with the sliding ones. And that usually ended up into, just scratching the motherboard on the inside. That was like the most common issues with those. But yeah, worth it.
I used to have a flip phone that was an LG. It was an LG. It was called LG Fusic. And
Fusic?
Fusic.
Oh, never.
It was a Fusic. It was a Sprint exclusive. Back when carriers used to do, manufacturer exclusives, they used to have the model specifically for that carrier, and it had a music player on the outside. But anyway, the whole point of it was it used to have a little on the back. Used to have a little release that would, like, the whole battery pack would come off, and in my pocket I would constantly play with that release switch, and I would constantly be pulling my battery out of my phone, like, just because it was just like something to fidget with in my pocket. And then I would open my phone and I'd be like, oh, it's off. I have to turn it back on because I pulled the battery out. Yeah.
So, do you kind of miss removable batteries from smartphones, or you're like happy, okay, finally there are no moving parts anymore?
Do I miss removable batteries? Not personally. The practicality, though, of being able to swap your battery from 0 to 100% was awesome, and I kind of miss that. I remember the last phone I used to do that with was, oh man. So in global markets, it was called the Motorola Electrify, and in Sprint, it was called the Motorola Photon 4G because it had WiMAX connectivity, and that battery was terrible. The battery life was terrible. It would last me like half a day, just half a day. It could not ever go past half a day. So in that case, yeah, I needed another battery to swap it out so I could have the rest of my charge on it. But nowadays batteries last day and a half. So It's okay, I guess. You know?
Because personally, I've never used a secondary battery. Like, even when I had a removable battery smartphone, sorry, it's normal phone, not smartphone, but but still, I would never use a secondary battery because I was like, hey, why use a secondary battery when I can charge it? So I did hear people, they're saying when LG G5 came out, everybody was like, oh, yay, we finally have a removable battery again. But never saw anybody using that in real life.
Oh man, the G5, the concept was great, but the execution was terrible. Like, it was, it required, no, I don't even know why they did that.
Let's not go there in the dark times. And that's kind of a recurring theme with LG smartphones.
Oh my
They
gosh.
do something,
I actually, segue for
never
that.
catches up.
You want to do one of these on your phone and one of these? I don't. Okay, more
Have
power.
you set up the hand? It's called Hand ID, right? Or Vein ID.
So okay. So this is the G8. This is actually the G8.
I recognized it.
And Hand ID does not work. It's just terrible. Why? Like, first of all, the wake up gesture to wake the phone up is you're supposed to cover the screen, and then when you lift your hand, it's supposed to wake up. That works never. And then my phone is sitting on the desk, while I'm working, and it's constantly like the screen's constantly coming on because there's movement around it. And I finally disabled it yesterday because it was driving me nuts. But Hand ID, it has this indicator where it's like, move closer, oh, move further, oh, move up a little bit. And then it's like, I can't see, touch to try again. I'm just like, let me just put my fingerprint on here at that point. Like, it doesn't, I'm gonna be ranting about this on the Knox Sequitur now, but it just doesn't add any convenience at all. It's just a cool party trick, I think. And I don't see any practical use for it. Like, I think that...
Do you think that it's a cool party trick or something which is way too early right now?
I think it's a cool party trick for all of 10 minutes until people forget about it.
Yeah, it does seem like that. Like, when it works, it looks really cool. Like, hey, you can just do that and then turn the volume up or down. But then when it doesn't work, which is like always, I guess, and then it's a bummer.
And then, like, it doesn't work. The idea is cool. The concept is cool. It's just not practical. It's just not executed well. But, But you know what? LG tried something new. They took a risk, and we can commend them for that. But that's about it. I don't see the Hand ID making it to the V60 or whatever's next, or the G9. I just don't understand why they would bring it back.
You never know.
I don't. Maybe they'll update it over the next 3 months, and it'll be the most amazing thing ever. They add more features. I don't know, but at this point, I don't see it in the future.
What if Apple implements it? Then it'll be revolutionary.
If Apple implemented Hand ID, the thing is, Face ID is already so convenient because you're already looking at your phone. It's just, oh, there it is. I don't know. What's Apple gonna authenticate next? I don't know.
Literally your palm, like once you're holding the device, based on your grip. You never know.
I don't know.
Let's stick with Face ID.
Sure, Face ID works for me.
Yeah. So talking about Face ID and all those front-facing cameras, let's talk about Oppo Reno.
Yes, Oppo Reno.
Then that shark fin camera pop-out seems pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's a totally different take on the periscope popping up camera, instead of just like a so forgive me, I didn't actually look through the Oppos. I wasn't at the event. my boss actually went to the event. But the shark fin, is it like a spring-loaded? Is it also motorized?
It is motorized.
It is motorized.
It's not spring-loaded.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be cool if it was spring-loaded though.
It would be a bit fragile though, don't you think? And you would literally fidget with it all day long, like release, then put it back, release again, and then put it back.
But what about if the motor could, like load the spring
Let
and
it
then the
loose.
release is just like a, I don't know. Who
That
knows?
would have been fun, I guess, but you never know.
So yeah,
So they launched
this
two variants, right?
There
So
are
one
two
is
variants.
the 10x zoom variant, and then the standard one.
Yeah, so the standard one does not have the 10 times zoom periscope camera is it literally called Reno 10 times zoom?
Yes.
Okay. That's one for the Hall of Fame of names of Chinese
Yeah.
phones. So there's a 16 megapixel camera in this selfie, I guess in this shark fin. But what I also like about that shark fin is that they took advantage of the back side of it as well by putting the flash for the rear camera. And I think that just makes sense to
Yes,
use
it
that
does.
space for something.
Wait, I thought that was an error in the render because I was thinking like that flash would be for the front side because it already has a flashlight below the periscope camera, right? Or is it just a logo?
No, I don't see. I mean, in the renders, let me see the hands-on. I don't see one in the renders, but let me check the hands-on because I don't know if Oppo made a mistake in their
Because-
own renders. That would be kind of
Yeah,
like,
because
what
don't
are
you
you
think that
doing?
it'll be odd? Like even when you want to use flash from the rear camera, the shark fin would come out.
I mean, that's the whole point. It's like, when you're gonna take a picture, you see this like, and you're like, whoa, So there's no flash on the front. There's no flash on the front.
Wow.
There's a camera, and I think I'm assuming a TOF sensor there as well.
Wow.
And but on the back there is the flash, rear-facing flash, dual LED flash for the rear camera.
Nice, sounds pretty nice to me.
Yeah. So
I'm not sure when they will be launching it in India. I'm not sure if they will launch at all, but hey, I wouldn't mind checking it out.
Oppo devices make it to India, right?
Yes,
Yes.
they do. Yeah, yes, they do.
Okay.
But then this is a sub brand like Xiaomi's Redmi series,
Right.
Poco series.
Yeah, and then and then the Oppo
Poco.
has the Realme, right?
Yeah,
Realme.
Realme.
Yeah. I'm not too familiar with what is and what isn't for sale in India. We don't get much over here in the States.
Oh man, you're missing out on all
We
these
are.
cheap phones.
We're
They're
we're missing
amazing,
out on
man.
all the cheap phones, all the Chinese phones we don't get over here because the government's just, I don't know. The government's the government, and there's nothing we can do about it. So.
Import them from China.
Right? Made in China, designed in California, Apple,
Yes. But talking about Poco phone, did you get a chance to try it out?
I only held it when I went to the office in Bulgaria. I didn't actually test it myself, but I did see it. I mean, the build was fairly nice. It didn't scream cheap, it was well built.
Considering did you use the Kevlar back one or the normal plastic one?
I don't remember.
If it felt okay, it must have been the armored
The Kevlar one?
Kevlar one.
It probably was.
Because the plastic one feels cheap.
If that's the one that they gave to reviewers, it's probably the one that I held. Yeah.
Yeah, they were smart. They gave out the
You're gonna give the nicer one to
expensive one.
reviewers, of course.
yeah. But yeah, the normal plastic one feels kind of cheap. But hey, you can't complain because for the price what you're getting, geez, that's amazing.
Yeah. So this Oppo Reno 10 times zoom has a 130 millimeter telephoto lens, which is what they call a 10 times zoom, and there's also a 16 millimeter ultra wide. So there's an ultra wide. This is basically the P30 for Oppo, basically.
Yes.
Except it uses a
Yes.
Snapdragon and not a Kirin.
Yeah.
I didn't even see what kind of display does this have. It has an AMOLED, but it's marginally dimmer, according to our hands-on, than the P30 Pro. But it doesn't have that dual
P30
curve.
Pro is nice.
I haven't
that.
held the P30 Pro either. It's all done in Europe, so I don't have one. The newest thing I have is the G8. Nobody cares about.
So it was launched last week, I guess, in India. And man, that phone is noise.
Noise.
Not even nice, it's noise.
I've been using
But
the Mate 20 Pro for a while, and I like it a lot. But yeah, I'm excited to check out eventually the P30 Pro and test that camera, that 10 times camera. That's crazy.
yeah, I think I saw a poll on Twitter somebody shared like, would you rather have the capability to zoom into pictures, like 10x zoom, or would you rather have better quality pictures?
No, I'd rather have better quality pictures.
Yeah, same here. Like,
But I would also like some kind of zoom.
I would rather have an ultra wide lens instead of a telephoto lens. Because I never feel the need to like zoom into a picture. Like, hey, I see a building over there. Let me just go into stalker mode and zoom into the building.
I definitely think that zooming gives you a different, I mean, obviously it gives you a different focal length, so you can get a different perspective on your images. But I don't think it needs to be more than like the Huawei's, the 3x zoom. I think that's perfect. The 3x hybrid I think is perfect for taking, a different, I guess, field of view, a different framing of your subject, of a person. Normally for people, you want to take a nice portrait shot. Because when you take a photo of somebody and you see more than half their body, you're like, okay, that photo's all right. Like, at least for me, that's what I see. Because when you use a professional camera, you're using a portrait lens, you're using a 50 millimeter, or you're using maybe even an 80 millimeter. So you want that. If you want that drama, you want that zoom.
Yes. I love my 50 millimeter prime lens. Oh, so nice. But I kind of regret not getting the 35 millimeter.
Which camera are you shooting with?
So I'm currently using my Nikon D3300. I know it's an entry level camera, but I'm going to upgrade soon. But the lens,
what kind of sensor does it have? Is it an APS-C or is it a full
APS-C?
APS-C.
Yeah,
Okay.
APS-C.
I used to have
the 50 millimeter goes in, gets transformed into 75 millimeter. I'm like, that's a lot, but the pictures are so good.
Yeah, I used to use a T3i, Canon T3i, which I think is the Rebel 6 or Rebel 1 i6. I don't remember what the global naming was. That was the American, I think, marketing for it, the Rebel whatever. But I'm now using a Panasonic Lumix G7, which has an even smaller, sensor. It's a micro four thirds.
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
Yeah. So, but the crop factor is actually half. So or I think double. So if I'm using I have a 20 millimeter pancake lens, and that is equivalent to a 40 millimeter, standard lens. So it's just double. It's easier to calculate that way. But the bokeh is just not. It's just not good. It's not enough. Like I have it's 1.7 aperture, and it's just not enough. It's not enough aperture. Marvin, my partner, has a Sony A7S II. And
so nice.
Oh my gosh, that bokeh is so nice. It's so soft. Oh, it's awesome. Sometimes I shoot with that camera, and it just comes out much nicer. My Mate 20 Pro video was shot entirely on that camera.
Sweet, because I was contemplating to get into mirrorless cameras. So I was thinking like, should I go for a mirrorless camera because that's obviously the future, or should I just invest in a better DSLR? So I'm like, okay, let's see how it pans out.
So I love Panasonic's controls, the variety of controls. There's just every control imaginable on it. There's a touchscreen on it. It's and the Sony is just the complete opposite. It's just menus, and then you have to press this, this, and this to get to this setting. It's just it's not intuitive at all. But I think one time I borrowed a GH4, and it got really good video compared to my G7. It's a lower quality version of the
GH4.
GH4. So I would look, like me personally, I might look for the GH5 or the GH4 for my next camera. But I don't know. I mean, Sony's pictures are really good as well, and then there's also the Canon EOS, but I'm hearing mixed feelings about it because I think it lacks features.
Yeah, so I was looking into EOS RP. So the EOS R is the higher end mirrorless camera,
Okay.
and then RP is the a little bit cheaper camera, although it's still $1,200.
Okay.
But still, yeah. So when I was talking with Haru, he was swearing about Panasonic cameras. Like, they are amazing. He's using GH4 or GH5, I forgot.
He's using one of those, yeah. I know for sure.
He's using Panasonic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So he's like, hey, you can also go for Panasonic. Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, just for what we do, I love the Panasonic because it's so easy to use all of it. Not because it's easy of use, but because there's controls for everything. There's programmable buttons. There's like six programmable buttons, and there's like 5 more virtual buttons that are just accessible on the touchscreen, like that are all programmable.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's nice.
And I think that their smartphone connectivity for like remote usage is so much better than Sony's. But then again, I think Sony have to buy their remote app so that it works the way you want it to, because Sony.
I don't own one, but I guess that's how it works.
Yeah, it's pretty useful, the mobile app. It works okay, but it does most of everything you do. You can control ISO, control shutter speed. You can start and stop the camera. Just on mine, because it's Wi-Fi, I have to manually reconnect every time I restart the camera. But I got a pretty good deal on the camera, so it's all right. It's all good.
Yeah. Once you get a pretty deal, hey, you can't complain about it.
Right?
It's nice. Since we're talking about Huawei phones, let's talk about Mate 20X.
Okay, sure.
The 5G smartphones, this is the year of 5G where you will just end up paying 5G tax. Like, hey, this is the phone. It's expensive because 5G.
Yeah.
So has 5G rolled out in your area yet? Like the 5GE thing, which is like not 5G, but 5G?
So it's funny because my friend recently asked me like, what does this 5GE thing in my signal bar mean? And I'm like, oh, it means absolutely nothing. I told them, just continue using it like normal. They're like, okay, yeah, it's just this marketing thing they did, I explained. So 5GE rolled out in my area, as in everybody got the update to the new Signal logo. Now, I have a lot to say about the 5GE icon, but I'll save that for later. But no, there's no 5G in this market. It's not really, the South Florida market is not a major market. I mean, it's an important one, definitely. Like Miami is definitely an important market for wireless. There's a very large metropolitan area in South Florida comprising of both Miami-Dade and Broward counties. It's very, I think it's probably, I'm not sure, next to maybe Orlando, it's probably the biggest concentration of people in Florida. But no, there's no 5G here. There's 5G right now Verizon has 5G in Chicago when they first launched it with the Moto Mod. Is only the Moto Z3 and the Moto Mod 5G is the only way you can get on it. And you have to pay the extra $10 a month to access that 5G connectivity. And actually, on this topic, yesterday I wrote a story about a comment that the AT&T CEO made during AT&T's earnings call. And he said, I would be surprised, if this is off the top of my head, I would be surprised if they didn't price 5G the same way as cable companies price internet at home, where you pay more for the speeds. And I'm just like, okay, I think T-Mobile's gonna have something to say about that for sure. Because, it's just, if 5G, if AT&T does this and wants to charge, the third internet tier for, 1 gigabit speeds, let's say, on 5G wireless, then it just becomes a cable company at that point, because that's how cable companies charge. And, and the question remains, are we still going to be charged by gigabyte? Are we still going to be charged for data buckets? Or is that going to be gone and we're just going to be going off of speed tiers? So you're going to have the 5G connectivity, and then you're going to get the most basic 50 megabit plan because it's the cheapest one. What's the point of 5G? It's like we want to give customers the advantage of it, and you're just going to do the same thing you were doing before and just trying to charge for this. Okay, I understand. It costs a lot of money to set up a 5G network and roll it out. I get that. T-Mobile has said that over the years, eventually once they get 5G up and running, it's going to cost less per gigabyte to offer to customers, and they're going to gain more customers. With this 5G rollout, people are going to gain more customers, even like at home broadband customers. This whole 5G thing is just it's going to shake up cable industry, the TV industry, and the wireless industry as we know it. All three.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. Since we're talking about internet speeds, what's your plan at home right now, like your internet broadband plan?
Actually,
how much are you paying?
It's a funny thing you mentioned that because I have to call Comcast to renew my promotional plan. So I have Comcast here, Xfinity, which we call it here in my area. Up until last year when I called, because I was getting like literally 25 megs down and like 5 megs up. It was terrible.
Oof.
I upgraded to something quicker, and it's now I get 120 megs down and it's no more than 20 megs up, which is better than what I had, but it's still not the fastest. I'm not in a very centralized area. It's not very heavily populated this way, but there tends to be people with more money in this area. People that are like, there's gated communities and all that's nicer area. But they've been slowly upgrading, us to these like faster, speeds. Hopefully, I don't think we're gonna get gigabit anytime soon. In other words, But I think Google Fiber was rolling out in Tampa. I'm not even sure where Google Fiber is at right now. If they're still doing that, to be honest.
Yeah, it just exists somewhere. It just exists.
It exists somewhere, just not here.
Yeah. So how much are you paying monthly? Like just an approximate
Sure.
for that plan?
I think it's a home because I work from home, so it's a home account. And I think we're paying I can't remember. I think it's honestly like $60 to $70 a month.
And do you have like a data bracket? Any data limitations?
I think it's a soft cap, but we never reach it. I think it's like 500 gigs or something, 500 gigs or 100 or a terabyte. No, it's definitely not a terabyte. It's probably 500 gigs, but we never reach it.
Huh. Yeah, 500 is more than enough.
I think so, but it's something that Comcast has started doing kind of recently, not really, but it hasn't been a problem for me anyway.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to flex here, but
no, please do, because please do. I want to know what you're getting over there.
So earlier, I was getting 50 down and 50 up, like 50 Mbps down and 50 Mbps up.
Okay.
And I had no data limits, and it was costing me. Let me just convert. It was costing me $20 per month.
Okay, I would gladly pay that. Okay.
So now I've upgraded my plan. So now my speed has been boosted to 100 megabits down and 100 megabits up. Same, no data limits, and I'm paying less.
Wow.
I'm paying $17 per month now.
Wow. Okay, and this brings an interesting point. It's even in Bulgaria, the speeds are really fast in Sofia, where GSMArena is based, and it's because countries outside of the U.S. has a very old infrastructure. Since the days of DSL and just regular cable. So when we upgraded to cable internet, the speeds are limited because the infrastructure doesn't support it, so they have to upgrade the infrastructure. So it's just been more expensive to upgrade existing infrastructure than it has been to just lay out brand new cable, which is what's been happening in India and what's been happening in Bulgaria. Maybe 3G wasn't widely available, but 4G LTE is the number one now over there. The United States is definitely behind in internet speeds, and that's because of how old our infrastructure is, and that's just how it. And then we pay more because the USA capitalism, that's just what it is.
Oh man, I remember 3G used to be so expensive, and now 4G is pretty cheap. That's fine.
Yeah.
So if I recall on top of my head, 100 MB of 3G data used to cost approximately $5. just 100 MB of data on 3G.
600
used to
MB
cost-
of data. 600 MB of data on.
No. 100 MB. I said 100 MB.
Oh, 100 megabytes
Yes.
was six. You said $6?
Yeah. No. Close to $4.
Oh, four. Okay. Okay. I remember when I had. Okay.
And now I'm paying $5 for 1.5 GB of 4G data every day for the next 3 months.
Hold on. $5.
$5 for 3 months, and I'm getting 1.5 GB of 4G data every day.
Man.
And it doesn't carry over. I just get 1.5
Your
GB every day.
counter restarts every day.
Yes.
That's
correct.
still a lot though. 1.5 gigs.
I know. Yes, I know, right?
Yeah, that's a lot. I should move somewhere
Yeah,
else.
come on over, man. This is a perfect segue about food because not sure if you saw that, but last month I had a burger which was like this big, bigger than my head, and it had a chicken patty which weighed 1.6 kilograms.
Okay, that's like 4 pounds.
Yeah. So just guess the price of that burger. Let me see if I still have the photo. I must be having, but till then, just guess the price.
Okay,
Like,
so
how much would it cost?
it was chicken, you said, or
Chicken.
okay?
Yeah,
So chicken.
1.6
It was
kg.
1.6 kilos.
Yes,
It's a big
just
ass
the chicken patty.
It's a big ass
Yeah.
chicken.
Yeah, the chicken patty, like everything. If you count like chicken patty and the chicken nuggets, whatever they put inside
Okay,
the burger,
okay.
just the weight of the chicken they added, that was 1.6
And you
kgs.
bought this where?
in India.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah.
So what was
Just
it?
Guess the price.
Was it what? $2?
Wait, how much is $2?
I don't know.
No, it's 140. No. It's not that cheap. Are burgers that cheap in US?
No, not. I mean, just a McDonald's, but no.
Yeah, but guess, dude, it was bigger than my head.
If that was
Just guess the
okay,
price.
if that was a burger here, bigger than your head burger, that would be at
Yes.
least $25.
Okay, let me just convert real quick. Okay. I get it. So, I think I'm about to find the image, but that burger costed me $11.
Oh, okay. I thought it was. I was really lowballing it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like $2. Wait, am I really thinking what you're saying? Like $2?
No.
That seems way off.
It's funny you mentioned pricing and food because I actually spent about a week in Peru earlier this month. I went back to my home country. So I went and I went to my mom's hometown, and it's very poor. She's from a very poor town, and they eat very cheap over there. I mean, both from necessity and just from like what they have available, because they don't have terribly much variety of food available. But I would eat like, a full meal for like 8 Peruvian currencies, which is about $2.50, and they would have like, it came with like a starter, like an entry, and it was like it was called papa rellena, which is a stuffed potato, and it was fried, and then after that was the main plate had some chicken chunks and some rice and some potatoes and some fried plantains, and it was like it was super cheap, man. But the city though, I was there, which is approximately, it's in northern Peru, my mom's hometown, and to get there, you have to get on a plane, 45 minutes from the capital city, and then you have to drive by land for 2.5 hours. But in the city, in Lima, in the capital city, oh man, things are getting expensive over there, like almost here expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, the economy's growing, it's getting more expensive, and there's a lot of Venezuelans too. A lot of Venezuelans are emigrating to nearby countries in South America and Central America. But that's just what's going on in Venezuela right now. But yeah,
I just sent you the photo of the burger.
you send it to me where?
Check the DMs.
Check the DMs, man. Let me get up in those DMs. Hold on. Sent me a photo. That is a really big burger. Oh my gosh. That looks delicious.
It was delicious. So that burger is supposed to feed 4 to 5 people.
Ooh, so you ate it yourself, right?
No, I was with two more of my friends. So 3 of us ate the burger, which was meant for 4 to 5 people.
Okay.
Hey, no regrets. It was nice.
No regrets.
No regrets at all.
Nice.
So, since we had food talks, let's segue back into tech.
Yes, let's do that. I'm hungry right now.
Oh, same here. It's like 11 p.m. and I did have dinner, and I'm still hungry. I'm like,
I had breakfast. It's about 1:25 p.m. over here. We actually have a 9.5-hour difference between Shimon and myself.
if you ask me, I really wouldn't mind having breakfast right now.
No, you know what? Sometimes I just want breakfast. Like when I lived in New York with my partner, we would on Thursday nights we would have breakfast for dinner. Like I would love making breakfast. So I would just make eggs and cheese and ham and like what else would we have? Sometimes we make pancakes. Like we went all out on Thursday nights. We just have let's have breakfast. Why not? Yeah, I love breakfast food.
Who doesn't love breakfast? Everybody loves breakfast. And pancakes. Yes, pancakes.
Oh man, I can only handle so many pancakes though. They have to be made right because if they're just one note, you get tired of them real quick.
Yeah.
Oh my
agreed.
god. Oh my god. Okay, so last thing about pancakes, I just saw on like a Tasty or like some Facebook video about these this thick pancakes. They're this thick, like that, and they use egg whites. They whip the egg whites into a meringue basically. And then they mix that with the batter, and they fry like that. There's just a stack of it's like a dollop. It's like a wallop on the pan, and you just flip it, and it's this thick. I'm just like, oh man, I gotta surprise somebody with that one day. But anyway, enough food because I'm really hungry. Let's get back to tech.
Just like thick with double C's. It's thick, boy.
Thick tech.
Anyways, thick tech. Well, if you see, like, Samsung Galaxy Fold is one thick smartphone. What do you think?
Galaxy Fold? Yeah, it's like double a normal phone now when it's closed. Yeah.
So let's segue a bit from smartphones and let's talk about Tesla and their amazing electric vehicles.
Sure.
Have you ever driven a Tesla before?
So it's actually funny. I've never driven one, but I just made a friend through a couple of potential business partners that I'm trying to start. We're trying to start a creative company. He has a Tesla 3, and I rode in it for the first time any Tesla for the first time in like ever, maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So I don't know too much about Tesla. I don't know too much about the tech. I know some of it, and I myself drive a 3 Series BMW. The 2009. It's 10 years old now, and actually I want to make a video about my 10 years with it. It's still going strong. It has a lot of you need to take care of these things because they're very complicated machines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. So how was the experience riding a Tesla?
Oh man. Honestly, I need to drive it. I don't want to be in the back. I was in the back seat. I want to drive it, and then I can get back to you with that. It was the accelerator. I mean, my new friend's friend was driving it, so the owner wasn't driving it, and he just kept accelerating like. I'm just like, okay, that's cool, but how does it do turns? Florida's very flat, so we don't have curved roads, we don't have hills, we don't have, all we have is highways and local streets, and it's all a grid. It's all grid, like grid.
Oh,
like
I
this.
see.
Yeah. So it's very flat here. So yeah, I want to take it. I want to drive it myself, and get some feedback on it. I drive a stick shift, so I'm always like, oh, I don't want to drive an electric car because I can't have fun driving it.
Yeah, same here, but still. So the legend goes, like, if you can drive a car in India, you can drive anywhere in the world because it's so unpredictable here.
Oh my gosh.
So that's kind of a meme. Like, Tesla autonomous driving cannot work in India because it cannot predict what's going to happen.
I can
on the
imagine.
road.
I can imagine.
But yeah, so that's why, like, I enjoy driving a manual car, but then sometimes I crave, like, hey, considering the traffic and the uncertainties on the road, I would rather drive an automatic car.
That is. I do agree with that. So where I live, it's not very crowded, and I'm not really. I don't commute, so I'm not in rush hour traffic every day. So I'm good with my 6-speed, you know. But if I was commuting every day and I was stuck for 45 minutes, you know, a lot of people's reality in this area, people commute for an hour, 45 minutes, at least 45 minutes to commute to work in traffic. But I'm over here complaining like it's the biggest deal in the world when you're in India and the traffic is probably way worse than over here. You guys have like 20 lanes going into like 3 lanes, I think. I don't know how. Oh no, that's China. Just kidding.
That was China.
Yeah, that's China.
Yeah, even I saw the picture and like, oh boy, that is bad.
Yeah.
20 lanes merging into 4. God, how does that even work? Apart from the people in the middle 4 rows, how would the other 16 merge into it? Damn.
I think they just all know where to move and they all know how to not hit each other. I think here we drive too defensively because that's how we're taught and we follow all the rules to the T. So I just think, you know, on a highway, when 5 lanes turn to 4, there's a jam. When 1 lane gets eliminated, there's a jam, you know, or when there's an exit lane, there's a jam. So it's just completely different. I don't even know how they would merge from 20 to 4. I can't even imagine that. It's just when the lines are gone. When the lines are gone, it's anyone's game, right? You just flow, you know, just stick yourself in there, right?
So since this is an interesting topic, like you prefer driving stick shift, you won't even like go into automatic cars. But
So
what do you feel? How do you feel about totally autonomous cars? Like you just hit destination A to destination B and you just sit in the car.
It's interesting. I'm glad you bring this up because I've never actually discussed this with anybody before. It's making me think about stuff. So, I enjoy driving. Now I say that because, like I said, I don't have a commute. I don't commute, but I don't know. I feel like I do enjoy driving, but it would be nice to be able to just let the car take over and just get me to where I'm going. I don't know. I guess I've never really thought of that process because I don't think. Maybe once I spend more time with my friend's Tesla, I'll have a different opinion. But I can't form an opinion right now. I can't come up with one right now. To be honest.
Yeah. I have the same schedule. You can say like I don't commute, so whenever I do, it's like a short commute. But a few weeks ago, I had a road trip of sorts where I had to drive for continuously 4 to 5 hours. Then I was like, oh. Where's my Tesla?
Oh my god!
Autonomous driving.
Yeah.
Because it's fine when the roads are empty.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not stuck in a traffic. At least you're moving. But suppose you get into a traffic jam stretch, then you're like, this is taking a lot of time.
Yeah, I guess just go ahead.
In those moments, you feel like, okay, I should have had an automatic car or a autonomous driving, some kind of assist so that you can rest.
Yeah, and you know, there's some cars now that have like traffic assist. Like you just let it, if you have cruise control on, you know, it'll at least keep you like you still have to keep the steering wheel. This is at its most basic. You still have to keep the steering wheel going, but it will keep your distance from the traffic in front of you, and it will even like brake when it's like like we call bumper to bumper traffic. You know, brake and stop, brake and stop, brake and stop. So in its most basic feature, there's that. But I'm really missing my cruise control in my car right now. There's a problem that I have with my car that I haven't had cruise control for like 3 years that I have to get fixed. So I did drive to I drove to Orlando 3 weeks ago with my car, and my foot started hurting from just holding it on the gas pedal. So, in that sense,
Been there.
yeah, in that sense, I'm just like, I need to get this cruise control fixed. I want to take my car across the country one day, like all the way across the country one day. I don't know when, but
that would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah, my gosh, I've done it once. I've done a cross-country road trip, not with my car, a rental car, and we had a friend, and with one of our Swedish friends, and Marvin and myself, and it was so much fun. It was 18 days, and we filmed all of it, and I have all the footage sitting in my hard drive, and I have to sort through it and do something with it. I can't wait to get it like sorted and like make something with it. It's a lot of really cool footage, a lot of spots we hit up. Yeah. But
sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, but anyway, let's talk about Tesla. So they had an autonomy day, which was the first time they opened up, analysts, and first time they invited analysts to come and talk about the future of autonomous driving and what concepts they have and what technological innovations that they've come up with in order to make autonomous driving closer and closer to a reality.
So did you check out the video which Elon posted? That was nice.
Yes. So you were talking about the one with the drive?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I did.
tweet.
I did see that. It was really cool. It's, he just put the destination, which I think was just a loop. It was just like he was going back to where he came from. But he put a destination with a route and hit go. And then he just sat there and it just went all the way. It was crazy that you could just like do that now. Like it's the possibility is there now. Like imagine 10 years ago you told somebody, oh, cars are gonna drive themselves. They'd be like, psh, yeah, right. Psh.
If it happened today, I would still have some kind of hesitation. Like, hey, I cannot let the steering wheel go. I need to hold at least one part of it. Like, I need to have some manual control.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, who knows? In the next 5-10 years, I might be sitting in a totally autonomous car. Who knows?
I don't know, man. I mean, my car is getting old, and I'm really like drawn to the idea of a Tesla, just because of the tech that's involved, and just because it's the future, no doubt about it.
Correct.
It's the future, and I still pay for gas like anybody else, but I'm not even complaining because I think U.S. has really cheap gas compared to a lot of places, but yeah, I mean, eventually, these cars will be obsolete, and it's gonna be. It's the future now. It's the future now.
Yeah. So even how Tesla reported that they lost $702 million in the last quarter.
That's right.
But if you see, they're still pretty ahead in the competition, don't you think?
Yeah, I think they said that their deliveries were declining. I guess interest in the car, or just people that are buying the car are getting they're getting deliveries and they're starting to decline. But I think Tesla needs to start offering a lease option. And I think if and when they do that, they will get more interested people who don't want to commit to buying this car because maybe it's because of how early it really is a beta product. A Tesla today is a beta product. They're going to have issues. They're going to have, stupid designs. Like I follow. I don't know if you follow Quinn Nelson on Twitter. He runs a YouTube channel, Snazzy Labs, and he has a Tesla 3, and he talks. I love how he rants. I love the guy when he rants.
Yes.
And he talks about how terrible the trunk design is. When there's water sitting on the trunk and he opens it, the water runs down, splashes on the window, and then runs back down and splashes right into the trunk. And how
I saw that video and I was like, what? They didn't think of that?
Why didn't like my car has a channel below the window that routes the water around and down the sides of the trunk. So, it's those little things that Tesla will eventually get better and better when they think about those things. But, it's still early on. And I think, if Tesla offers a lease option, like maybe a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year lease option, people would be more interested in like, oh, I'm down to try a Tesla for 3 years, but Maybe that's not the
Funny
route.
you mentioned that because if I recall correctly, they introduced the lease options for Model 3 just a few days ago.
Oh, no way. I'm over here talking shit. I don't even know what's going on.
And if I recall correctly, even Marcus's Model S is a lease vehicle, if I recall correctly.
Okay. Tesla leasing, competitive leasing. If these do not benefit you, blah, blah, blah. Okay, there's
Yeah,
10,000,
so it's available
12,000, and 15,000 annual mileage options. Dang. Okay. If you want to lease a Model S, it's $7,500 down. If you want to lease a Model 3, it's $3,000 down, which it's about right for for a lease. And then, okay, so let me put this into let's calculate what my monthly payment would be. I'm just curious. And why? I can't. It doesn't let me. Fix your website, Tesla. Why can't I put my zip code? What's going on?
So let's jump into OnePlus. Are you going for the OnePlus 7 launch event?
Yes, I'm going to the OnePlus 7 launch event in New York on May 14th.
14th.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'll be going for the one happening in Bangalore.
Same event, different places.
It will be 8:15 p.m. for me because all three launches are happening simultaneously.
Are they happening simultaneously? Oh wow! Yes. So if it's at 8:15 your time, then it's at I can't do it right now. It's at I think it's like at 11 a.m.
Yeah,
on the East Coast. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be amazing. I heard that Carl is coming to Bangalore. I'm not sure if he's going to be in New York or something.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Did he go to? I don't remember if he was at the OnePlus 6T launch because I was at the 6T launch. I don't remember if I saw him or not.
Because I recall reading a thread in OnePlus forums where they mentioned hey, you'll be getting to meet Carl Pei over there. It was for fans, but hey, wait, Carl is coming to Bangalore. Oh, that's great. Have you met him personally?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I've been to two OnePlus parties. One in Vegas after CES, not this past CES, the previous one, and then at the Berlin one for this last IFA, I was also as well. And the opportunity was there so many times, and I didn't meet him. He was in my vicinity, a lot of the time, talking to people I know, but it'll happen. I'm sure that I'll get to meet him, but I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him yet.
I met him once, and it was a closed door meetup with select group of people.
Okay.
It was around the launch of OnePlus 5.
Okay.
And 5T was about to launch.
Sure.
In a few months. And then Carl is really down to earth. He's a very humble guy. And we have never met before, and he recognized me. Oh, you're Shimon, right?
What?
Hold up. How do you recognize me?
I mean, if you covered OnePlus, he's probably seen you. He's probably. Did I do OnePlus videos? No. Did I? No. I don't think I have. Maybe hands on.
I have interacted with him on Twitter, so I
Okay.
Hey, I've seen you on Twitter. Oh boy, it's pretty commendable. If you can, if you had an interaction with someone and then you can recognize them.
Right.
It was commendable. And we had a good chat about how Oxygen OS is evolving and all. It was more about OnePlus 5. And okay, we had a good chat.
Sure, that's
He's
awesome.
a nice guy. So talking about OnePlus 7 and 7 Pro, I heard only OnePlus 7 Pro is coming to US. That's correct, right?
So I heard that as well. I don't know if that's correct, but based on the market here, that would make the most sense. Because, and this is something interesting about the US market. First of all, OnePlus made it to T-Mobile. OnePlus sells phones in T-Mobile stores, which is a huge deal for OnePlus. And any Chinese phone maker in general, it's a big deal. So, if someone's trying to choose between a Samsung phone and an iPhone and maybe an LG phone, I don't know, then if they see one phone that costs $200 less, they're like, what's wrong with it? Why is it so cheap? So it makes and it makes sense. And this is what Pixel did. This is what Google did with the Pixel as well. It makes sense. I mean, not in the same scenario, but what I mean is, in the United States, you want your devices to be priced in a way that they compete with similarly priced devices or more expensive devices. And because most people are in the US are going to buy this likely through T-Mobile, they're not, it's going to be paid on a monthly basis and not outright. People here don't really buy their phones outright very much unless they're very tech savvy or smart buyers, which there's not a lot of down here. So, so it's just, it's just the US consumer market behavior is just like that. But yeah, the rumor is that the 7 Pro would be coming here and not the regular one. Maybe they'd rather sell the cheaper one in other markets where OnePlus is more prevalent and OnePlus has much more success, and that makes sense. If they want to present themselves to the US market, let's say, for example, I'm not saying this, I don't even know if this is true. Let's say, for example, AT&T wants to make a deal with OnePlus as well. They're going to want to sell their top of the line product and not not the $500, $600 price version. So I think it makes sense for OnePlus to do that strategy in the US. And yeah, that's about it.
My conspiracy theory is like the only reason they have OnePlus 7 is because just to counter the backlash. At least in Indian market, they're like, oh, OnePlus 7 Pro is so expensive. Why is it so expensive? Then we're like, oh, hey, here's the normal price OnePlus phone, which is the OnePlus 7. And even if you look at it, OnePlus 7 is not a bad upgrade. Like, it might look same as OnePlus 6T, but hey, you're getting next gen specs. And if you want something really special, really extra, hey, you have OnePlus 7 Pro.
Interesting you mentioned that. The 7 Pro, now, The Verge talked to Carl Pei about...
No, they talked to Pete Lau.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, yes, you're right. Pete Lau. They talked to Pete Lau about the next OnePlus, and all he said was that it's gonna be an extraordinary, off the top of my head, it's gonna be an amazing looking screen, an amazing looking display. That's gonna, and he said that he was super. What was it? He said. He said
that they spent a lot of money in R&D.
That's true. That's true. They said that they spent 3 times what they spent on panels in previous years on this display. Mm-hmm. So the panel alone is going to be the selling point of this OnePlus 7 Pro. And we don't know specs about it yet. We don't know what it's going to look like. We only seen teasers of the display literally looking like a corner of a phone. So is this display going to be literally, all the way to the curve of the phone? That's what the teaser. That's what I think the teaser conveys. But the other more interesting part is the supposed 90 hertz refresh rate of the display, which is a big deal for displays in the smartphone world, because currently the only smartphones to have these high refresh rate displays are gaming phones like the Asus ROG phone and the Razer phone and the Razer phone 2. Both of them have higher refresh rates, and it makes a huge difference. So different. So if OnePlus manages to make a really nice looking display, it'll push the entire industry to make better displays on their smartphones. But the downside to that is it's going to push costs further up. And smartphones are getting more expensive and more expensive. Do we really need another reason to make it even more expensive for something that we don't really need, but we would like? It's like
we being tech enthusiasts, we're like, oh yeah, what's the next big thing?
Right?
We need something nice.
And then you think about, oh, it's expensive, but that's just the way it is right now.
Yeah. So personally, I don't really like curved screens. I would rather have a flat screen. What about you? Do you prefer flat screens?
I prefer a flat screen. Yeah. I mean, I've been using before. So I was using the Honor View 20 for a while.
Oh, that was a nice one.
Yeah, it was a nice phone. I reviewed it and I did a long-term review. And the gestures are so much easier to do because it has the gestures from the edge for the back. And it was doing it right from the edge of the screen. It was so much easier to grab that than to you have to kind of reach down and curve upwards with the curve to get on the Mate 20 Pro's dual curve display. So Yeah, I think in practical terms, I do prefer a flat display. Also because like the curves just add that weird tint on the edges of the screen when you're watching video.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't bother me, but it's there. It's there when you're like, oh yeah, it's there. I forgot about it. Whatever, and then you just forget about it's there again.
That OCD person in me always spots that.
Yeah, but I do like that the curved display makes the footprint smaller. But that's about it for the curved display for me.
What do you think about the pop-up camera?
So
Would you rather
I have had no experience with any pop-up cameras. Because,
Oh, really?
No, I haven't had any here. So the Nex S, Oppo. I mean, who right now makes pop-up cameras, or at least
Oppo,
just Oppo,
Vivo,
Oppo, Vivo.
and hey, they are the sister companies of OnePlus.
Right? So Oppo, Vivo. I mean, that's two brands that don't ever come here. So I mean, they
and if you take Samsung into consideration, then maybe the A80, which launched recently. It's not a pop-up camera, but still, it just swivels on the back.
Oh, that's right. I did see that. I did see that, but I haven't seen it in person. So I have no.
Same here.
I think I played very briefly with the Nex S back when I was in Bulgaria at the office, but other than that, that's it. I mean, the whole pop-up thing is a nice idea for a full display with no bezels, but the only downside is durability. How long is this going to last?
Yes.
There's no water protection or ingress protection. If I drop it, is this mechanism going to stop working? That's the only concern I have about these pop-up camera, periscope mechanism, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, same thing. Like already, OnePlus phones don't have an official IP rating. They just say like, hey, it's splash-proof, it's water-resistant, but don't drop it in water. And OnePlus 7 Pro, since it has a mechanical part, like the pop-up camera thingy, I think it's going to be a bit fragile, but I'm interested to see how they tackle the fragility part of the phone. That's going to be interesting. Considering it will have curved screen, so there are more points of fragility in the screen, and the pop-up camera. But hey, you're getting a third extra camera, so that's cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what direction these pop-up mechanized cameras go in the future for smartphones.
Yeah, because full display looks really nice. Like even in the Honor View 20, the punch hole is really small.
The Honor View 20 looks really nice. Yeah.
Yes. And I use the Apex, the Nex S. It looked really nice, the full display thing.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that was nice.
So what do you think about in-display scanners?
I haven't used one specifically, for my personal use. I've only used it at hands-on areas and all. It seemed fine. I would still rather have a capacitive fingerprint scanner.
I agree with you on that. It's in-display scanners are not as accurate, not as reliable, not as consistent. It's just like, are you really solving a problem or creating a new one?
Yeah.
I like the rear-mounted finger. I'm using the fingerprint scanner on this on the G8, and it works pretty well.
Do you really need it? You have Hand ID, man.
I forgot about Hand ID. And face unlock. This one also does face unlock with the TOF sensor, and it makes you register your face like an iPhone, like you doing all of this also. So it's interesting, the approach.
Since you mentioned face unlock, in Vivo V15 Pro, it has a pop-up selfie camera. Oh man, if you use face unlock on that phone, it's super fast, like instant. The camera just rises up, boop boop, and you're done.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe it's just faking it. I tried it with some other faces and all. It's accurate. It's
Oh my
pretty
God!
accurate.
Did you see the Nokia 9
Yes,
unlocking
I
with a
did.
pack of gum?
with the pack of chewing gum. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Gosh. No, what is Nokia doing? I was so excited for that phone, and then I made a hands-on that did really well, and I was just, hyping it up so much. Like, oh my God, it's gonna be the best camera ever. I can't wait to try it. And then I didn't get a unit, but the office did. And then my colleague says to me like, I have bad news about the Nokia 9. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And apparently there's a limitation that you can't take photos if the battery's below 50%.
Wait, what? I didn't hear that.
That's what, I'm not sure if that's a real limitation, if that was like a pre-production limitation, but that's what he told me. Don't quote me on that, because I'm not 100% sure, because I didn't have the unit, but it was just weird limitations, and said the camera wasn't as amazing as it thought out to be. Maybe software updates will fix it, but as I said, I don't have the unit in hand, so I can't speak off personal experience for the Nokia 9. But anyway, going back really quick to the OnePlus 7 Pro. Okay, so the other thing is the pricing for the 7 Pro is rumored to be at 700 euros. And that's a significant step up from the 579, I don't know about...
460.
Was it? 560?
No. I'm saying OnePlus 60.
Oh, I thought you said 560. I'm like, oh, I'm wrong? Wait, okay. No, so yeah, the OnePlus 6T in the States starts at 579 because they don't have the 6 gig model anymore. They have only the 8 gig 128. So that's a significant step up. But I was actually expecting more based on how he said they were going to price it, saying that it was going to be competing against the top competitors. But I think that 700, I think that's a pretty good price if they consider that it's going to be a premium phone. I wonder if there's going to be English protection on it at all. Is it going to be water resistant at all? I don't know.
I doubt.
But you know, that I think that's a pretty good price point for me. What do you think about this 700 euro price point?
Same thing. Like I was expecting it to like match with Samsung Galaxy S10 and like not literally iPhone, but yeah, above all those premium segment smartphones. But this is still a significant cut from those. Like it's lower than the entry level Samsung Galaxy S10e, if I recall correctly.
The S10e here is 750.
This is
in Europe. I think it's more. It must be more.
Oh,
I'm not sure what.
But
it is.
still, it's 750, right? So
okay,
it's still less.
Well, yeah, it is less, and the 750 price point is also the iPhone XR, which is going to be undercutting it as well.
And that's the premium mid-range smartphones. Not exactly mid-range, but yeah, that's the cheaper flagship alternative. And for that price, like even lower than that price, you're getting a Pro variant of 7 Plus. Wait, OnePlus 7.
7 Plus. 7 Plus, that's it.
7 Plus it is. So yeah, so undercutting that premium mid-segment prices of XR and S10e, you're still getting a Pro version of OnePlus 7, which is pretty nice in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true, because so the rumors for the entry-level OnePlus 7 pricing is they're saying it's gonna, there's no speculation for it right now, but I mean, it's definitely going to be more than the OnePlus 6T, which is like 5 something right now. So I would think that 650, maybe less, maybe 630, 640 might be a good starting point for the OnePlus 7.
What do you think if it is 599?
599. That actually would be better, way more competitive for sure. But I don't know what kind. I mean, I don't know. I wonder what they're gonna do with the 7 and what specs the 7's gonna have over the 7 Pro.
How much was the McLaren edition priced at? In US?
I have to check again. Like, I think it wasn't too much more. Was it? It was definitely not 800. It was like 699, I think.
Okay. So just for comparison, like the base model of OnePlus 60 over here was 38,000 rupees. I will have to convert it. But in comparison, the McLaren edition is 51,000 rupees. Let me just convert it real quick. Oh boy. So 38. So it was $540 for base 60, and for McLaren it was $725.
725. Okay,
Yes.
that sounds about right for here too, but I don't see it here on the website. I don't know why. I don't see it. I wrote a story about it. It's probably on there. I mean, I did review it. I have this phone. I have the McLaren edition.
Wow.
Yeah. I have it somewhere. Okay, it's $699.
Yeah, I think it'll be priced lower than the McLaren edition because McLaren edition had the maxed out storage options, right? 10 gigs of RAM? Or was
Yeah,
it 12?
no, it was maxed out. It was 10 and 256.
Personally, I think 64 gigs or maybe 128 is enough for me at least. Because everything is in the cloud.
That's true. Nowadays, yeah. Yeah, I like to have the option of 128, but I really don't think I need more than 64.
Yeah, same here. Hey, better than having 16.
Oh my gosh. having like only 4 gigs for apps or something.
That was really bad. The dark times.
People are still buying 8 gigabyte. Oh my gosh, I used to work at Samsung in Best Buy, and people used to come with me like, "What's wrong with my phone?" And it was a Samsung phone, and I'd be like, "Oh, you need a new one. This has only 8 gigs of. You can't do anything with this. This was 8 gigs of storage." And it was like 2 years old already. It was like the Galaxy Grand something.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, so I'm just like, oh, you should just get a new phone right behind me. This is the S6 right now, like whatever came out at the time.
That was really fun.
My mic's still
so okay,
on.
so let's
Okay.
so to just wrap things up.
Sure.
Where can people find you on the internet?
Well, you can find me at Twitter, Instagram, at Ricky V Tech, RACKYVTECK. And you can find me on YouTube. I don't do as many videos as the other guys, but I'm also do video for GSMArena. So you can go to GSMArena's YouTube channel and you can find me there as well. Yeah, but I'm always on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I like to post to the gram regularly. So I'm also on Facebook, but I don't use it as much. I have a Facebook page for myself, but I'm starting to update that now. So if you're on Facebook, you can find me by searching Ricky VT. And yeah, just hit me up if anything. I don't know. Like, I'm not talking to the viewers right now, it's the listeners. Like, I like to interact with people on Twitter. So if you have a question about a phone or want an opinion on something, like, hit me up. I'm down. I'm down to like have a conversation.
It was amazing talking with you and discussing all things. It was really interesting. I hope you had fun.
Well, thank you, Shimon. I had a lot of fun. It was great talking to you. I'm glad that we were able to interact like this. I haven't really, since we really met, like the first time we met was the only time we ever saw each other. And that was like a couple of years ago now, at least 2 years ago now.
Yes.
Now, when we met for the HTC U11 launch in Taiwan.
Yeah, that was a good experience.
That was my first trip outside of the Americas. Like I'd never even been to Europe at that point. First trip to Asia, first trip outside of not the United States. I've been to like South America and Caribbean, but first time out of the Americas. It was really interesting. Yeah, I loved it. I want to go back to Taiwan so bad. It was so awesome.
Oh, same here.
I want to go back. I was like, no, why is HTC not doing the same thing anymore? I'm glad that we got that experience though. That was like the first and maybe last time that they did a media tour like that.
Yeah, because it was their 20th anniversary.
Yeah. Well, Shimon, I had a great time. Thank you for having me. And, I'm just a tweet away, message away, whenever. I'm down to be on here again.
Yes.
I love it. It's just, whatever. Just hit me up.
Yes, let's do it again sometime soon.
Definitely.
And that's it, folks. That's all for this week's episode. I hope you liked it. And if you did, like, share, subscribe, do your thing. And if you have any questions or comments, constructive criticisms, let me know. Just tweet at me. It's at ShimonIPS. That is SHIMONIPS. And hey, new feature alert. Now you can even send me voice messages via Anchor. So if you're using Anchor on your phone, tablet, PC, web browser, anywhere, you can send me a voice message. So it'll be like, hey, I can reply back to your messages, questions, anything in the next episode. So yeah, that's a pretty neat feature. Make use of it and reach out to me. That's going to be fun. All right, folks, I'll see you in the next episode.